21 top-rated tourist attractions in Canada. The second largest country in the world, Canada has no shortage of beautiful landscapes and interesting sights for travelers to explore. From coast to coast to coast, the country is home to vibrant and culturally rich cities, along with incredible natural wonders. In Western Canada, the Rocky Mountains, the Okanagan Valley, and the cities of Vancouver, Victoria, and Calgary are some of the best places to visit and frequently dominate itineraries. In central Canada, Niagara Falls, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City are some of the most popular tourist destinations. For those who venture out to Canada's Atlantic provinces in the east, the beauty of Gros Morne National Park, along with the cities of Halifax and St. John's, provide their own unique character. Off the beaten path, but equally impressive, is Canada's north, where great rivers flow out to the Arctic Ocean, creating some incredible territory for canoeists, and where polar bears can be seen in the wild. Travelers can explore the remote beauty of places like Nahanni National Park, Great Slave Lake, and the towns and cities of Churchill, Whitehorse, and Yellowknife. 1. Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is Canada's most famous natural attraction, bringing in millions of visitors each year. Located just over an hour's drive from Toronto, along the American border, these massive falls drop approximately 57 meters. You can see the falls at an astoundingly close distance from several key points. Niagara Falls and the Niagara Gorge have been attracting tourists and daredevils for well over a century. 2. Banff National Park and the Rocky Mountains. Banff National Park lies in the heart of the majestic Rocky Mountains in the province of Alberta, and showcases some of Canada's most beautiful scenery. Turquoise-colored lakes, snow-capped peaks, and glaciers are all easily accessible in this stunning park. Take a scenic drive or head off on one of the best hikes in Banff. The jewel of the park is Lake Louise, where green waters reflect the surrounding mountains and glaciers, and visitors can stroll easily around the shores. 3. Toronto CN Tower. On the shores of Lake Ontario and Canada's biggest city is the iconic CN Tower, one of Canada's most famous landmarks. The tower stands an impressive 553 meters high and dominates the skyline. At the top, you can find fine dining in the revolving 360 restaurant, and enjoy a meal while looking out over the city and lake. The lookout and the glass floor offer beautiful views out over the entire area. For an added thrill, consider stepping outside of the enclosed area onto the metal walkway for the CN Tower Edge Walk. At night, the tower is lit in different colors. 4. Old Quebec, Vieux-Québec. Old Quebec is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of Canada's historic gems. Spread across the upper and lower town of Quebec, this area contains the city's most historic buildings. Old Quebec is one of Canada's most popular historical areas and is well developed for tourism. In addition to the historical sites, other highlights include artists displaying their works on Rue du Trésor, interesting museums, like the Musée de la Civilisation, and unique shops and restaurants. 5. Whistler Mountain. Just a 2-hour drive from Vancouver is the famous ski resort of Whistler Blackcomb and the year-round resort destination of Whistler. While Whistler has always been an important winter sports area, it has also developed into a popular summer destination, with golf, mountain biking, and a lively town atmosphere no matter when you visit. The area offers world-class skiing, hotels, and dining, as well as a variety of outdoor recreational opportunities and beautiful mountain scenery. 6. Ottawa's Parliament Hill. Ottawa's Parliament Hill stands high above the Ottawa River and is graced by the neo-Gothic-style Parliament buildings built in the last half of the 19th century. The most prominent feature is the Peace Tower, which divides the House of Commons and the Senate on either side. In the summer, the changing of the guard takes place on the front lawn of the Houses of Parliament, weather permitting. Below Parliament Hill, a lovely walk runs alongside the Ottawa River. 7. St. John's Signal Hill National Historic Site. At the entrance to St. John's Harbor, overlooking the city and sea, is Signal Hill National Historic Site. It was here, in 1901, that the first wireless transatlantic signal was received. It also played a strategic role in the 7 Years' War with France, although the current fortifications were built during the hostilities of 1812. The Cabot Tower is one of the key sites of Signal Hill. 8. Old Montreal. Old Montreal, lined with lovely historic buildings, is a place to go for great shopping and fine dining. While Montreal itself is a vibrant modern city, Old Montreal, down by the waterfront, is where you'll want to go to soak up the atmosphere. 9. Polar Bears of Churchill, Manitoba. One of Canada's most unique attractions is the polar bear migration that sees these beautiful creatures make their way from land out onto the ice in Hudson Bay, near the town of Churchill in northern Manitoba. This small community opens itself up to tourists each fall. Tours take visitors out in tundra buggies with caged windows for close encounters with the polar bears. The prime viewing time occurs in October or November while the bears are waiting for the water to freeze before heading out onto the ice. 10. Vancouver Island. Although it is less than a 2-hour ferry ride from the mainland, Vancouver Island can seem a world away. Most people head to Victoria, BC's capital city, for sightseeing and culture, but if you head north into the wild and remote landscapes, the island holds some unexpected and unforgettable experiences. Nature lovers can hit the best hiking trails on Vancouver Island and set themselves up at some beautiful camping locations. Those looking for more comfort can always turn to one of the island's lodges or resorts. 11. Bay of Fundy. The Bay of Fundy, located in eastern Canada in between New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, is known for its amazing tides. The variation between high and low is the largest in the world, measuring up to a maximum of 19 meters, 10 fathoms. While there are many ways to appreciate this natural wonder, some of the most popular locations and sites along the Bay of Fundy are the cliffs and rock formations at Hopewell Cape, Fundy National Park, the Fundy Trail Parkway, and Grand Manan Island. 12. Victoria's Inner Harbour. Few Canadian cities have done such a beautiful job of developing their waterfront area as Victoria and its Inner Harbour. This is a great place for strolling, relaxing, shopping, dining, and watching street performers all against the backdrop of the harbour. The centerpiece of this area is the historic Empress Hotel, one of the city's most lovely buildings. While the harbour area is popular year-round, it is particularly lively during the summer months. 13. Gros Morne National Park. Newfoundland's Gros Morne National Park is more remote than many of Canada's most popular national parks, but worth the effort to discover this beautiful landscape of mountains and fjords. The park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site featuring steep cliff walls, waterfalls, and interesting rock formations carved by the glacier-fed waters. Most visitors take a boat tour to appreciate the scenery, but there are also hiking trails and opportunities for kayaking. 14. Vancouver's Stanley Park. One of Vancouver's greatest treasures is the 405-hectare Stanley Park, conveniently located on the west side of the downtown area. Situated on a peninsula, the park is surrounded by the ocean and home to huge red cedar and Douglas fir trees. The seawall, which rings the park, has an extensive walking, jogging, and biking path with designated lanes for walkers and bikers. From the seawall are some lovely views of the city and mountains. A scenic drive also winds through Stanley Park with numerous pull-outs. Within the park are the Vancouver Aquarium, scenic Beaver Lake, and the Stanley Park Pavilion and Rose Garden. 15. Calgary Stampede. This 10-day affair is one of the most widely anticipated events in Western Canada, with many locals and summertime travelers planning their holidays around the Calgary Stampede. For this week in July, the city of Calgary turns into a true Western town, where people who might otherwise be wearing suits to work instead don jeans and cowboy boots. Many big-name country music performers also typically come to the city for this event. 16. The Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Winnipeg's newest major attraction, which has drawn both national and international attention, is the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Opened in 2014 near the Forks, the building displays a unique design that is eye-catching to say the least, with geometry and colors based on images of the Canadian landscape. The museum highlights personal stories, capturing different perspectives, and focuses on a range of themes. 17. The Okanagan Valley. Locals who live in Penticton and Kelowna like to say that the Okanagan Valley is located on the warm side of the mountains from neighboring Alberta. This statement rings true. This long valley is truly a summer playground for Western Canadians. Huge lakes dominate the valley floor, and some of British Columbia's best beaches can be found here. In the winter, the Okanagan quiets down somewhat, but when the snow flies, locals head to Big White, Apex, Silver Star, or Sun Peaks, some of British Columbia's best ski resorts. 18. Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park. The province of Saskatchewan and Cypress Hills Interprovincial Park in particular, are often overlooked as places to visit in Canada. A bit out of the way, they attract less tourists, but those who do make the effort to get here are amply rewarded. Wide open spaces, huge skies, and abundant, and rare, wildlife are the norm out here, as is a feeling of peace and quiet. 19. Royal Tyrrell Museum in Drumheller. One of the world's premier dinosaur museums, the Royal Tyrrell is not to be missed. Incredible displays of dinosaurs found nearby are impressively showcased in a world-class setting. As you wander through the 13 galleries, you'll be transported back 3.9 billion years to the time that dinosaurs roamed the world. 20. Dawson City. Home of the 19th century gold rush, Dawson City today finds its gold in the pockets of the happy visitors that come to see what life was like back in those crazy days. The town has done an excellent job of preserving the historical architecture of the time. In fact, the downtown core, called the Dawson Historical Complex, is a National Historic Site. 21. Rideau Canal. The historic Rideau Canal is a beloved four-season playground for the residents and visitors to eastern Ontario. Extending from Kingston, on Lake Ontario, for 202 kilometers to Ottawa, this National Historic Site has been in operation since 1832. In the summer, pleasure boats filled with families enjoying the summer sun transit the locks and make their way slowly along the route, stopping for ice cream and snacks at small towns along the way. Thanks for watching.